Welcome back to the channel, champions of Azeroth. Come dive deeper into the lore with me. Let's see where we left off in Azeroth, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Okay guys, welcome back to Classic World of Warcraft, Mr. Pandaria. We're here with Neuro Pathfinder at the start of the Southern Barrens. We finished up Stone Talon last time, and now led us into the Southern Barrens. So let's get into it and see what's going on here. This way, adventurer, I see you've discovered the High Road. The Alliance hopes sever our ties with Stone Talon, but they forget that we Torn have hunted across these lands for generations. We know every hillside, switchback, and game trail, from here to Thousand Needles. But for these paths to stay open, we must stop the humans from mapping them out. Patrol the trail east and kill any High Road scouts you find along the way. Then speak to Tunawa Stillwind just up the path. Patrolling the high road is grave business, but it must be done. These narrow mountain trails are, for the time being, one of our only lifelines into Stone Talon. They must be preserved. Those that surrendered when Honor's stand fell are no longer worthy of our horde, adventurer, but I'm not giving up on them yet. The prisoner tower below us is lightly guarded. Let's give those prisoners one final chance to die with honor. I've set up ropes that will allow you to quickly clamber up and down the mountain. Slip down, acquire the confiscated weapons, and rearm the prisoners inside the tower. And adventurer, stay by the tower. We're not yet equipped for an assault on the base proper. From up here, I got the perfect view of the havoc you just caused, adventurer. Our lost brothers reclaimed some of their dignity, and the Alliance dogs were sent scrambling. Sharp work, my friend. If the Alliance sleeps comfortably at night, we are not doing our job. We will never let up. We will never give in. Our resources are limited, adventurer, but that doesn't mean we can't make some trouble down below. Use the ropes here to sneak down the hillside, then slay the human prisoner wardens. Killing a couple of scrawny guards won't turn the tide of battle, but imagine the fear and chaos we'll reap as the humans discover the mutilated bodies. Holgum grins a yellow grin, his eyes glinting. Good, good. I'll take them many sleepless nights to figure out where we came from and where we disappeared to after the kills. Who goes there? Your footsteps are not the lazy stride of a guard. Adventurer, you say? Still brave and free? There's no hope for me, friend. I have lost my eyesight and am no longer fit for battle. I dared speak up while Captain Peak savagely beat one of the prisoners. In return, he kicked me in the head and kept kicking. He kicked me blind, adventurer. You'll find Captain Peak at the top of this tower. If you seek justice, bring me his eyes. If he does not part with them willingly, so be it. You have them? I'll take your word for it. Hearing Pike scream like one of his victims is reward enough for me. Now leave me be, adventurer. I do not wish to be a burden to my clan. Honor's stand may have been lost, but its spirit was crushed. Even now, survivors are holding out at a point called Hunter's Hill. Continue following the high road and you will find our camp just up ahead. Speak with Anate when you get there and let her know the trail is, for the moment, still clear. So the Alliance is probing the twists and turns of the high road. Even if they were to map it out, they couldn't attack these hills in numbers. This is our land, adventurer, and they will pay dearly for presuming otherwise. Do you see the trail below us, adventurer? This is my trail, and if the Alliance dogs choose to use my trail, they'd best be looking over their shoulder. It's time to collect my toll, slay the foot soldiers from Honor's stand, and see if we can't send them scurrying back to their walls. Be sure to take out at least one of their officers patrolling the road. They need to realize that nobody is safe. Excellent, adventurer. It will be some time before we can assault the hold proper, but until then, we must teach them to fear the Barrens. We are besieged here, adventurer, and between that chasm and the harassment of the Alliance, we are short on supplies. But we do make with what's at hand, as we Torn always have. In the absence of a forge, a skilled leatherworker can strengthen and patch up our damaged armor with good quality hides. Down below is the hunting grounds of the Terror-Tooth raptors. They are not so easy to kill, in part due to their ruggedness of their thick skin. Hunt them, adventurer, and bring their hides to me. Onate looks over the fresh hides, nodding her head slowly. Yes, adventurer, I can work with these. You work fast. These hides will help us hold out for reinforcements longer. Thank you. This bundle of papers was found in a leather satchel hidden under the officer's clothes. Battle maps of the region depict Honor's stand, connected to what appears to be a large unfinished roadway crossing the Barrens all the way from Theramore. It looks like the Alliance plans to build a road from the coast straight into the heart of Kalimdor. Killrock Gorehammer will want to see this. Killrock pages through the plans you discovered. This explains much, adventure. No wonder our foes are so hell-bent on taking the southern Barrens. It's the center of their plans for the continent. But they didn't account for us, did they, adventurer? These maps have been drawn by the same steady hand. I've seen a human surveyor heading up and down the road between the hold and the jungle to the east. We can set their plans back, making an example of this surveyor, adventurer. Killrock points to the signature at the bottom of the maps. What do you think that says Zykes? Even humans' names sound thin and weak. Kill him. Good, good. We've got to keep Honor's stand isolated, alone, afraid. Adventurer, if we keep up the pressure, maybe someday they'll simply surrender the pass. Turn your eyes to the southeast. Do you see the campfire smoke from Camp Unafe? Not 10 minutes ago, I saw great puffs of white smoke roll up into the sky from the center of camp. It was an old signal used by my village to coordinate the hunt over great distances, but this time it was a distress signal. Adventurer, my brother Makaba had gone into that unnatural jungle. Please go there and make sure he's not in any trouble. There are few paths. Look for tents within the wilderness. So my sister recognized the old signals. Her hunter eyes are as sharp as ever. Adventurer, when we first set up this camp, we were at the edge of this jungle. Now look at it. Something's amiss. This camp was built at the edge of this jungle and already is overwhelmed by plant growth. Something unnatural is happening here. Earlier, I made the mistake of sending some of the healthier refugees out to gather nuts and berries. Those that returned talked about the plant life actually grasping at their legs or even picking them up. I worry about those that haven't come back yet. Adventurer, please rescue the refugees trapped in the grasping overgrowth around the camp. Thank you, Adventurer, but now on to the larger question. Where is this overgrowth coming from? And why is it raging out of control? Not everyone who fled Taharo was able to make it to Unife. Adventurers, some died of wounds along the way. Others were jumped by opportunistic quillboars. I'll take care of the grim task of finding and gathering the bodies, but there is something you can do for me. Hecklefang scavengers prowl the land south of here and are savaging the corpses, tearing at their bowels and dragging away the limbs of the dead. Please thin their numbers so that I can perform the proper funerary rites. So it is done. Normally these scavengers are part of the Earth Mother's cycle of life, but on the heels of the devastation racked by both the Alliance and the Cataclysm, their numbers grow overwhelmingly. It is good to thin them out. When the refugees fled north from Taharo, some were separated as darkness closed in. Many were taken prisoner by the bristleback quillboar, who set up camp west and southwest of here. I'm not certain what the quillboar hoped to get from us by capturing our refugees. All they earned is my ire, and all they can get in return is vengeance. Rescue my trapped brothers and sisters and kill their captors to send a message to the quillboar. It's bad enough to have one's village sacked, but to spend the following night in a quillboar cage? I'm glad you were there to help, adventurer. The great archdruid Neralex recently appeared here in the Barrens. He's either behind this mess or trying to fix it. Either way, you should talk to him before his jungle engulfs the whole world. He's in a small torn camp to the southeast. Along the way, it would be helpful for you to gather plant samples for him to study. The newest flower buds will tell him a great deal about the most recent changes in the jungle. Ah, samples from different parts of the overgrowth? This will be immensely helpful. Yes, thank you, adventurer. There's got to be a way to cure these poor creatures without having to take their lives. I have an idea, but I'll need your help, adventurer. The lash vine plants that roam here hold seeds full of the primal energy of this place. Collect these for me and bring them back, and we'll see if something can be done. I'm concerned by how active these are. Nevertheless, it simply means we must continue to act quickly before the corruption here becomes worse. The energies unleashed here have surged through the wildlife, twisting them into powerful and unstable forms. If allowed to spread beyond this grove, these deviants will wreak havoc on the existing ecosystem, devouring local prey and driving out the weaker natural creatures. You must go and cull the population of the overgrowth. Return when this task is done. Thank you, adventurer. I'm pleased to see you returned intact. The viciousness I've been seeing among these creatures is startling. The corruption unleashed here must be studied if we're to find a way of properly fighting it. Luckily, now not all the creatures have been as altered as others. The smaller snakes drink little water and do not eat plants, so their exposure to the energies here has been minimal. They've still absorbed enough to change coloration. Go collect these snakes from the overgrowth and return them to me so we can see what is happening to the creatures here. These will do perfectly. Bright colors like these don't occur naturally in the Barrens, but they haven't developed any other mutations so far. If I have truly sown chaos, it is time for reaping. The lumbering overgrowths of plant life shamble through the imbued stream here. Adventurer, they are a direct manifestation of the unstable forces mutating this area. Slay as many as you can, and we might be able to slow the spread of the overgrowth further. And while you're at it, be on the lookout for parts of them that appear especially corrupted. Bring any such pieces to me. Nerlex slowly takes the squirming heart from you, visibly disturbed. I've been a fool. The one truth I did not want to accept has been staring me in the face this entire time. This foul thing is proof of that. You and I have much work to do. Based on what you've brought me, I think we may have a solution. I've imbued the Lashvine seed with healing energies. Simple contact with these should imbue the creatures here with enough energy to force out the corruption influence. Go and attempt to heal the mutated raptors and planestriders by sprinkling the seed on them, and report the results back to me. Oh dear, it seems the forces at work here are a bit difficult to control. Please, don't bother Nerlex with this. It will only upset him. This confirms it. The overgrowth here is not being caused by a mere overabundance of energy. Do you understand? This is beyond what happened at the Wailing Caverns now. A rift into the nightmare must have torn open in the middle of the very land we're standing on, and to think it's my fault. I'm done picking at the edges of this wound. Go to the west, to the center of the overgrowth, and meet me again there. We will dive into the heart of this corruption and force it shut. We've done it. The nightmare's connection to this place has been severed. The rest of the land is safe from this intrusion now, and in time the aberrations here will be subsumed by the balance of nature. I cannot thank you enough, adventurer. By helping to restore order here, you've let me make amends for my foolish actions. The Quillbor are attacking because they perceive weakness. Strength is the only language they understand, so we will show them strength. Makaba withdraws a large horn from his satchel. This is admittedly crude work, but it'll do. Bristleback leaders use horns like these to challenge one another for dominance. Adventurer, I want you to challenge the Bristleback champion, Saber Snout, to single combat. Defeat him in front of his followers. Blow the horn at the Bristleback challenge ring due south of here. What? He attacked you with a dozen boars? I guess Quillbor have their own ideas of what single combat means. Still, the Bristleback will be left reeling after the blow you delivered. It will not be long before a new champion rises amongst them to stir up trouble, but at least this buys us some time to get these refugees relocated safely. Thank you, adventurer. The survivors owe you a great debt. The children you see here were all rescued from Taharo when the fighting started. I'm trying to track down their parents. One of the refugees you rescued from the Quillbors recognized the strongest child as belonging to Kirg Mari Sternhorn. Moreover, he said Kirg was camped at the Fields of Blood, just north of Taharo massacre site. Adventurer, please go there and tell Kirg Sternhorn that his child is alive and well. Kirg listens intently and then falls to one knee. Alive? My boy still lives? Praise to the Earth Mother. I still have a son. Kirg composes himself. Adventurer, my boy's mother didn't make it out of Taharo alive. I will avenge her death, even if it means my son grows up without either of his parents. While we have accomplished much here, it would be a tragedy if part of this corruption has escaped our notice. The corridors of the Wailing Caverns stretch throughout the entire Barrens, and if another spot of wild energy has made its way to the surface, you've done enough for me, though. I would simply ask that you let a fellow druid of mine what's happened here. You will find Winona Pine Forest at Vendetta Point, southwest of here. I could feel what occurred from here, adventurer. It bristled every hair I have. I'm overjoyed to hear you succeeded in pushing those horrors back, and I'll be sure to scour the area for any stray, deviant creatures. The Alliance scorches a trail of murder across the Barrens. We must stop them here, or there is nothing left for us. Across the field of blood, there are a number of strategic hills, marked by wooden towers and neutral gray banners. We must take and hold these hills if we hope to slow the Alliance advance. Look for the towers to the north, east, south of what's left of Taharo. Claim a neutral flag and defend the hills against counterattack. So you held your ground. With tenacity like yours, we may yet drive the Alliance from our lands. Our defense of the Barrens hasn't gone well under Gardul's command. Adventurer, Garrosh has sent Warlord Bloodhilt here to take control of the situation. He's here in camp, and if you want to make a good impression, you will demonstrate some initiative. Head east into the Fields of Blood and seek out Northwatch recon units. Bringing the new warlord a stack of their merit badges will help you make a name for yourself. Bloodhilt looks at the badges, then allows them to spill from his hands onto the sand below. His lips curl open in a toothy grin. Now this is what I like to see, adventurer. What is your name again? You will go far here. If you seek vengeance on our Alliance invaders, you would do well to observe the fiercest of predators in the Barrens, the lions, that stalk among the tall grass. Do so with cunning, stealth, and power. Learn from their example, and you will understand the kind of war we need to fight. Hunt the plain prowlers and pride mains, then return to me. Discuss what you have learned. You will often find them in the shades of large trees. Ah, yes, I see a cunning in your eyes. That was not present before. Well done, adventurer. Adventurer, you've proven yourself on the fields of blood, but the Alliance still threatens our torn friends. The siege machinery outside the gates of Mulgar is like a spear aimed at our heart. I want you to go to the gates south of here and remove those siege vehicles from play. Here, use these sticky bombs. They are courtesy of our new goblin allies. It looks as though they stuffed explosive powder into what looks like grease-covered socks, but they'll do. Very good. Now, should they storm the gates, they will have to do so with infantry. Do you think they have the stomach for that? Outstanding work at the gates, adventurer. The main body of the Alliance force is in general retreat. But I'm not satisfied. They sacked Torharo, which was little more than a hunter's camp. This Alliance is unmasked at last for what it really is, a renegade band of butchers. Even now, a group of humans linger behind to pick at the bones of smoldering Taharo. Bloodhilt hurls an axe into the dirt. Make them suffer. Excellent. I'll have their bodies strung up along the Gold Road as a message to the Alliance. With the immediate threat gone, can you help me with some grim business? We Tauren do not bury our dead. We prepare the body for its return to the elements and place it at our sacred grave sites. Those killed in the Taharo massacre have had no funeral, and I worry misguided Alliance soldiers will burn the bodies of the dead before the proper rites have been performed. Adventurer, please take this totem to Taharo and perform services for Krumul, Darna, Yanda, and Omasa. They didn't make it out of there. Wano bows her head. Thank you. Thanks to you, the immediate threat is over, but my work here in the Barrens is only beginning. Honor's stand was captured and Taharo was sacked while Warlord Gardul was in charge of the region. The war chief has sent me here to clean up his mess. I would like you to ride into Desolation Hold to the south in advance of me and let Gardul know that it is time for a reckoning. Talk to me when you are ready to leave and I will assemble my vanguard to accompany you. Gardul breaks into a sweat. Look, let's not discuss this here in front of the men. When Bloodlight arrives, I'd like to have a talk in private. Can you accompany me to make sure that things stay on the level? This Bloodhilt is, he's a loose cannon. Gardul tries to compose himself. Meet me atop the northern tower and we'll talk with Bloodhilt together. You've just learned a little something about the inner workings of Horde High Command. Warlord Bloodlight is in charge of Desolation Hold now. He may have more for you to do in the courtyard below. I am convinced the Alliance is using spies to scout the field and pass along information. They know to strike at Taharo while the hunters were afield, and they counted every one of Gardul's moves like he was an open book. Well, adventurer, I for one will not be outplayed. Not here. We will win the battle for intelligence. Even now I hear reports of Alliance operatives slinking around in the shadows, especially here outside these very walls. Kill them and bring me back something of use. Haha, the fool didn't destroy these orders. Let's see what we can learn. The Silithid, they're bugs, adventure, or something like bugs. They're not natural, and we built a fortress on the equivalent of an anthill. Take this burning pitch and set the buggers on fire and plug up their burrows at the same time. Be careful when you pour this stuff on there. The Silithids will come out in swarms. Look for Silithid mounds around the exterior of Desolation Hold. They look like heaps of sand. Kill anything that crawls out. You're covered in hot tar and bug juice? Don't worry, friend. It'll come off. We have fought the Alliance to a standstill here. Even as the land beneath our feet falls apart, to the east you will find the battle scar. A wide swath of decimated terrain. It is a little more than a line in the sand, but it must be our line. In the center of the scar you will find a flag marker designated who controls it. Scout out the flag. If it's not already ours, capture it for the Horde. It will swing the battle in our favor. Investigate the scar and kill anyone you find in there. Excellent. You're my kind of adventurer. With your help, we will throw these invaders back into the sea. I've always wanted to try making an abomination. It looks simple enough, but you know how it is when you learn things from a book? There's no substitute for doing. First, I'm going to need parts. Lots of parts, and you're going to get them for me. No need to be picky, human, orc, it doesn't matter. Parts is parts. Just be sure the corpses you harvest come from the battle scars, so I know they're fresh. Calder presses a rusted, gore-covered bone saw into your hands and smiles disarmingly. Caldir peers into the sack of extremities and licks his lips with a dry, black tongue. Oh my, this is exciting. Aren't you excited, adventurer? The Alliance has hired in Wildhammer mercenaries to control the skies over the battle scar. I believe these same Griffin Riders were the ones to firebomb Tararo during the attack. I want our skies scoured clean. The Wildhammer dwarves fly low enough for a sharp-eyed adventurer to hook them. Take this. Target their griffins and dismount the riders. Once grounded, show them no mercy. Tamusa snorts as he takes back his hook. Vengeance feels hollow. Still, I could not allow them to go unpunished. This operative had orders to secure the roadways between the Alliance Command and Fort Triumph. General Hawthorne is on the move. Bloodhilt crumbles his documents in his fist. It's him, adventurer Hawthorne. I spit the name. He is the one who ordered the assault on Taharo. Now we know when and where to strike him down. Quickly, follow the road north of the battle scar and meet up with my assassin, Carthag. Crush Hawthorne and string his body up along the road. Upon hearing the news, Bloodhilt snorts. His eyes gleam. He tips his head back and bellows a wet, cackling laugh that echoes between the blackened walls of Desolation Hold and reverberates throughout the hills behind. So it is done. The butcher of Taharo is felled at last, cut down in the streets like a dog. Fitting. You have done well, adventurer. You've sowed fear into our enemies and soon will reap the harvest. These parts, so lovely. Muscle and sinew, fingers, toes. I am so hungry right now. But work must come first. Once I stitch this pile of parts together, I'm going to need a heart strong enough to pump sludge through this rat's nest of veins. I would use my own heart, but it's a shriveled up husk resembling a turnip. No, I need some real power. Get me a Kodo heart from one of those giant Landquaker bulls to the south of the battle scar. Calder grasps the gigantic heart in both hands, squeezing it and listening to the valves slurp and squish. His pale mask of a face splits open into an enormous, childlike grin. It is so very important to love one's work. Wouldn't you agree, adventurer? Caldir chucks the heart over his shoulder into a waist-high pile of entrails. My monstrosity is taking shape. All that's left is to stuff his skull with something useful. I'm talking about brains, adventurer. And here, I'm going to be picky. The bombification process causes significant brain damage, so it's best to start with someone smart. One of the Alliance officers should do nicely. Seek out one of the captains on the far side of the battle scar and try not to damage the goods while you kill him. Calder holds the brains in an outstretched hand while withdrawing a gore-caked multi-tool from his belt. Wonderful work. Now the secret here is to leave the reptilian nervous system intact while removing the higher cognitive functions. We can't have our friend developing a conscience or remembering his alliance. Caldor digs and snips at the brain, removing large chunks. And we're finished. How lovely. I've been on top of this Silithid situation for almost a month, which makes me the local expert. Just last week, the Earthen Ring was visiting, wanted me to write down everything I know. Crawgul hands you a tattered book. I'm not much of a writer, or a reader for that matter, but this book is probably the most definitive thing ever written about this foe. Deliver it to Tuna Skychaser down in Firestone Point. It's south of here, just west of the main road. Is this from Crawgul? Wonderful. Despite all the turmoil in the world, we can't turn our back on the Silithid threat. It is important to have people like Crawgul study our enemy closely and learning its secrets for the fight ahead. Twana opens the book and glances over the first page. Her face falls. Oh, well, I suppose it's something, at least. I would ask a favor of you, adventurer. A warrior named Mankrik passed through our camp not long ago. On a lonely journey, his wife was killed by the Quillboar long ago, and he still seeks revenge. I cannot forget his eyes burning with inconsolable hatred. Every walking moment, we did not talk long, but I cannot bear to think of him out there alone. Please bring this to Mankrik and tell him it is from me. Monka sent you? Mankrik's fury quails for a moment. It is a small comfort, but nothing can console me until I am done here. For a moment, I thought my hatred had stilled. My wife laid to rest, a final offering of the blood of her murderers to quell her tortured spirit. I thought perhaps peace would appeal to me. I was wrong. I will not rest now until every single filthy, squealing, murderous Quillboar lays dead and broken. I cannot kill them fast enough with my own two hands. Go and slay more for me, adventurer. Good. Take your reward. This is only a prelude. This bright red stone found clutched in the grass Quillboar has been carefully carved into the likeness of a great boar, with thorny veins sprouting from its back. Its surface is smooth and worn with care. Did the Quillboar make this? If you find others, maybe one of the shaman at Firestone Point can tell you more about them. These are blood shards. They used to be found all over the Barrens. It's said they were formed from the blood of Agamemnon, great demigod that Quillboar sprang from. I knew the Quillboar prized them, but nobody would think they would take the time and care to carve them like this one. There may be more to learn here. I think the Quillboar are being driven by more than just crude desire. Would you help me look into this further? To the west, scattered among the Quillboar settlements and camps, I've noticed boar skulls. They gleamed from a distance, polished, smooth, distinct from the remains littered in their waste piles. I think these may be objects of worship. Bring me several of these to examine, adventurer. Yes, these are clearly symbols of Agamemnon. But if the Quillboar are still devoted to their dead god, what is the source of their vicious aggression? It is said Agamemnon was noble and even gave his life fighting the Burning Legion. A moment, adventurer, we must confer with the spirits. I no longer care for honor or glory, adventurer. All that matters to me is that the Quillboar die, by any means, at anyone's hand. Mingletooth, the chief of these filthy Razormane, sits in his lair to the northwest, atop a hill. End his life. I plan to stay here and pile these bodies until no more vermin run squealing from the crawl to face me. Good, good. They will all die. Their chieftain and their women and their children and their foul pets. I can't put him out of my mind, adventurer. Sometimes at night I can hear his howls of rage and suffering echoing across the plains. To imagine him out there alone in such pain. Please, I must ask a favor of you. Go to Mankrik and tell him to come see me. Thank you, adventurer. We are here to monitor the scars of the land and watch for further signs of instability. While we haven't seen any yet, a cataclysm aftershock could devastate the Barrens even further. To the northeast, near the chasm, earth elementals rampage out of control to soothe the earth. These need to occasionally be destroyed and their essence returned in a ritual. If you help us do this, adventurer, I would be happy to reward you. Thank you, friend. It's important we try to calm this earth in every way we can. My people are not wrathful by nature, but sometimes the thirst for justice causes us to take up arms in anger. My old friend Ganon Stonespire, on learning of the butchery in Taharo, flew into a fury. Tribal elders could no longer hold his rage in check. Now he has all but parted ways with the Horde. He's gone rogue, adventurer, and seeks to lash out at the Alliance with a small band of like-minded partisans. If you too seek vengeance, You will find him southeast of here, at the foot of Baal Modan. Gan looks you up and down. We could use your help, adventurer, but this is not a skirmish. We fight here to strike a killing blow or die trying. Gan grasps you with a blood-caked hand. My wounds are great, but I will not rest until the dwarves of Baal Modan pay for their crimes. We smuggled a man inside their fortress during our last raid. A goblin saboteur, Weasel Slipshadow, create a disruption at the gates, kill who you can, then slip inside the fortress of Bolduin to the south and find Weasel. That stronghold can only be destroyed from within, and Weasel can't do it alone. You do good work, monk. That riot you caused at the fortress entrance has these doors running around with their heads cut off. I don't know if you noticed on your way in, but this whole fortress is erected around a giant cannon. If we can find the ammunition magazine, we could blow this place sky high as easy as kiss my hand. But to figure it out, I'm going to need the fortress schematics, and I haven't been able to steal them yet. Look for the plans on the lowest floor right down these stairs. Let's see. It looks like the artillery shells are prepped here and then loaded into the secure magazine. Weasel rubs his hands together. Adventurer, are you ready to blow some stuff up? These dwarven artillery shells have a built-in air burst timer. This is easy. Just sabotage one of the artillery shells in the loading bay and then hoist it up into the magazine. Boom, baby, boom. You'll find the shells in one of the 2 loading bays behind the main garage on this level. It's right around the corner. Once you've rigged the artillery shell, run like the wind, adventurer, then report to Gan back at camp. I'll be right behind you. Baal done? Destroyed? Wincing in pain, Gan twists his head to peer behind him. More plumes of smoke darken the skyline. Adventurer, my friend, you have avenged Taharo and avenged the Torn people. The invaders will not soon recover from that blow. Thank you. Gan closes his eyes, his head tipping forward as his breath gives way to a series of ragged coughs. Mancrick's fervor over his dead wife raises further concerns, adventurer. The Quillbore and Razorfin Crawl are far more ruthless and full of hatred than Mancrick could ever imagine. You should travel south, there and speak with my old friend Old Stonespire. He works to put an end to their rampage before the land suffers more in its already weakened condition. Only a veteran like you could brave the dangers lurking here. Okay, guys, well, that's the end of the episode. We're here with Nato and Gain. We just helped Gain get his revenge against the dwarves. We helped Desolation hold, fix up with the Alliance, and hold off people in the Southern Barrens. And we also dealt with the Nightmare and the Overgrowth earlier on in the Southern Barrens. Well, we're getting a lot of stuff done. It seems like Nato here wants to send us to Dustwall of Marsh next. So we'll get into that in the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a big thumbs up down below. It helps out a ton. If there's anything I can do to make these videos more entertaining for you, leave a comment down below. And I hope you guys are subbing so you guys get notifications of every upload I do. Again, hope you enjoyed the video. Have a nice day. Peace.